Hey everybody, my name's Kyle and this is Track by Track, music reviews, news, and commentary. With the recent release of the Beatles Get Back documentary series, there's been a lot of talk among music fans about how fascinating it is to get an inside look at the band's creative process. And there's one segment in particular that I've seen mentioned a number of times, which jumped out at me when I was watching the series as well. Fairly early on in the first episode, we see Paul McCartney casually jamming on his guitar, searching for a melody to accompany a rhythmic chord structure that's beginning to take shape. George Harrison and Ringo Starr sit nearby and watch as the embryonic form of the song Get Back starts to take shape. Paul vocalizes gibberish words and sounds at first, but within about a minute, he's landed on the iconic lyric, "Get back, get back, get back to where you once belonged." A moment later, George is playing along, and Ringo is singing backup vocals. It's a truly magic moment, no doubt about it. And it makes you wonder, well, a lot of things, really. Like, in that moment, did they have any notion they were on the verge of creating such an iconic song? At that point in their history, was this so second nature to them that they even took it for granted? And how often did this kind of thing happen for them when there were no cameras around to capture it? It's obviously a rare thing for the public to be able to witness artists essentially giving birth to songs. It's not a process that's typically documented as comprehensively as what we see in this film. And we see it happen multiple times here with songs that will eventually appear on albums like Abbey Road and Let It Be. But for me, the genesis of Get Back was the one that was the most breathtaking to witness. And of course, it didn't end there. Over the span of nearly 8 hours, we practically saw the song grow up right before our eyes, right up until it became the final song the Beatles would ever play live on that Savile Row rooftop. Now, for as much as I think the Beatles are the greatest and most important rock band of all time, I still have to wonder how much of their actual creative process is truly unique. What we witnessed in seeing McCartney conjure an iconic song into existence seemingly in mere seconds was thrilling, but probably not that unusual. I'm sure many other popular bands could tell similar stories about the creation of some of their biggest songs as well. But that's stories. It's a different thing for us as the audience to actually witness it for ourselves. The closest comparison I can think of is the creation of the song One by U2. This third single from their 1991 album masterpiece, Achtung Baby, has gone on to become a modern classic, but its genesis was nearly as random as Get Back was for Paul McCartney. And we know this because, similar to the birth of that Beatles song, U2 had the tapes rolling at the time. You can hear it yourself in the 2011 documentary about the making of the album, From the Sky Down. It's available on DVD, as well as part of the Super Deluxe Edition box set of Achtung Baby that was released that same year. Here's what essentially happened. The band was bunkered down in a studio in Berlin trying to develop new songs for their first full studio album following the massive success of the Joshua Tree. Much of the raw material that would become the song Mysterious Ways was falling into place, but they still hadn't found what they were looking for. During a jam session of the song that still had a working title of Sick Puppy, the band experimented with a new chord structure for the bridge when suddenly something new began to emerge. In the documentary, you hear that very recording, and you see Bono and The Edge react to that playback. In that moment, they all knew instantly that they'd discovered something special, something that needed to evolve into a completely different animal from Mysterious Ways. At one point, we hear Bono say, "Give me an acoustic guitar at the speed of light," because that's how fast inspiration happens. It's the same big bang of creation as we saw with Get Back. And just like Paul McCartney, we hear Bono vocalizing with gibberish and seemingly random words, circling around the melody but still searching for the message. But the heightened energy from all four band members is palpable as together they focus their collective creativity on this supernova of a song. In Bono's description of the songwriting process, I can't help but think Paul would have echoed similar sentiments. Bono explains, "It can happen very, very quickly or, tragically, very slowly. But in the case of one, things happened extremely quickly." So in both Get Back with the Beatles and From the Sky Down with U2, we as an audience are given the rarest of opportunities to be a fly on the wall during these sacred acts of musical creation. And in both cases, a large part of the excitement as viewers is to be witnessing that process from a future vantage point and comprehending the significance of these moments in ways the artists themselves could not yet fathom. If you've seen the new Get Back documentary, you know there's many moments like that peppered across all 3 episodes. And if that's left you craving more intimate peeks into the creative process of iconic musicians, From the Sky Down featuring U2 is highly recommended. Once again, my name is Kyle, and this has been Track by Track. If you like this video, please be sure to give it a thumbs up. Plus, check out some of these other videos below that I think you might also enjoy. And of course, be sure to subscribe, because true music fans always want new releases the day they come out. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.